Hello, we're expletives included. Today we're doing another vlog rewatch podcast for Steven
I
Universe.
thought we agreed they're Oggs.
The vlogs, the audio logs, starting with Lion 2, the movie, which I believe is episode 17 we're on now,
Yep,
and also Beach Party, episode 18.
yep.
Here, do you want to run off the details for Lion 2, the movie?
Right. First broadcast, April 23rd, 2014. Uh, Written and storyboarded by Joe Johnson and Jeff Liu, and directed by Ian Jones Quarterly.
Um, a few episodes ago, you said that they changed their kind of art director.
Yes, it's been consistently the same art director, um, Ellie Michalka.
Because I think it was just pushed to the back of my mind, but in this episode it kind of came back up because again we've got Stephen where he's got just the weird faces.
I think that's more of a Joe Johnson, Jeff Liu thing, because as I've said, they do storyboard everything. So the
Yeah.
primary features and such would be set by them.
So those two names, can you repeat them again just so I can try to remember them for when we meet them again?
Joe Johnston, Jeff Liu.
Okay.
There is actually a chart somewhere of the comparisons of the different storyboard artists.
hmm I'll just remember them as J.
Ah,
Jonah Jameson.
well,
But yeah, several times in this
JJJL.
episode, I've just kind of noticed Steven's face just, I don't know, just kind of stretching lengthways and his eyes going all derpy and just the mouth being all weird and being more squishy and malleable.
Yeah,
And it just seems a bit odd, to be honest.
well, he is weird.
Um, but yeah, moving on.
Well, it begins with the movie we all need to see, Dog Copter 3.
I don't know, you need to introduce it properly, like, in a world where you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but you can because he's dog copter. I can't actually remember what they say, but it's something along those lines.
Then he shoots a missile out of his butt.
Yep. Oh, also, it's Dog Copter 3,
Hmm.
and in true movie fashion, the third movie of any series has to be in glorious 3D.
Yep, as has been laid down in tradition since the glorious and totally faultless Jaws 3 in 3D
I was going to say, was that the first one, Jaws 3?
that I'm aware of.
It was like the first run of 3D movies that was equally as bad. Equally as bad.
Yeah, I do like the alternative explanation for Jaws. None of the second half of the movie doesn't happen when they're on the boat. They're just drunk and telling stories.
hmm
And then they make up everything when they get back to explain why one of them's dead.
Okay.
Um,
And that's your fan theory. You can keep it.
it's oh, other people hold it too. Also, this is the first time we get a date in the show.
What, February?
Yeah, which is the closest thing to a time we have in the show.
That's true. I think maybe we've made a reference to summer or something.
The seasons have changed.
hmm
You know, there's not a Christmas episode, but there is a snow episode. So who knows? Maybe Beach City's in one of those weird microclimates where anything can change.
I think so because, well, this is February. This is spring, but I think next episode we're in summer.
Everyone is in sporty beach attire in that episode.
And having a barbecue on the beach, that's not something you do in spring.
Well, they do that every episode.
Shh.
I'm alluding to the credits.
But yes, okay. So we're given the trailer to Dogcopter.
Yes.
Um, we've also neglected to say that it's Connie showing this to Stephen.
on her smartphone.
Um, Connie, who I believe is one of your favorite characters.
I think she's a good character. Um,
Um,
I think it's always good to have a human side to anchor things.
mhm.
Also, she's a total dweeb.
And she's a total book geek, which
Yeah,
is kind of up your alley because Dogcopter 3,
it's based on a
the,
book.
yes,
The kind of book I'd write.
it seems a bit, well, if I was pitched the story of Dogcopter, I would assume that it would just be like a straight to movie type thing. I don't imagine this being a book.
Well, maybe it was like a 2001 Space Odyssey deal. They wrote the book and the movie simultaneously.
I don't know, because Connie is saying that she hopes that it's faithful to the
Yeah,
series, so
yeah.
books came first.
And I bet
Well,
they're amazing.
mhm. Well, he fires missiles out of his butt.
Yeah.
It's how can that not sell?
Well, he's a dog, and a helicopter, and a cop.
How can that not sell?
It doesn't exist and I want it. But yeah, so we have Stephen and Connie geeking out over this movie. And then the Jones come back in Sentai poses.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do they always pose when they come through the teleporter?
I like to believe they only do it when they think no one's watching.
I'm not sure if they thought that Connie was there, because
Well, they
the way they
didn't.
talk about it, they kind of sounds like, "Oh, Connie, I had no idea that you were going to be here this exact moment when we came back."
Um, I think with Pearl's thing, I don't think she thought that Connie would be there. But maybe they do it just to impress her to make Stephen look better.
I'm wondering if maybe they did.
I mean, Garnet's line is greetings.
Mm. And also, Amethyst transforms into a dogcopter, but then with her own face, and tries to eat all of the snacks. And
And she also turns her face into a boombox
she does do that.
and gives a funky beat.
Well, she's just kind of like showing off how cool magic is.
She's
And
showing off how cool Amethyst is.
yes, that's true. But also, what I was going to say is she goes after the snacks, but then Steven just kind of bashes her away.
Yep.
And I think that the Amethyst that I know would probably be a bit more persistent in her demanding of snacks if
Yeah,
Connie wasn't there.
exactly. I think that's the crux of this scene. Is the gems are letting Stephen seem cool.
Yeah, they're trying to help him with his funky flow.
Yeah, which is
Although I'm
why.
not sure if he needs help with this funky flow anymore. Because well, was like the idea of the original one that he was trying to get a date with her, or was he just trying to be friends with her?
It depends on how old he is, I think.
Because in this episode, it seems
It seems like they're trying to take it to the next level.
I don't know. I think it still seems like they're just friends.
Yeah, and I think the gems are trying to push it to that next level for Stephen.
Oh, okay. I see. I see what you mean. I can kind of see that.
Also, Garnet has literally one line in this entire scene. Quite possibly
Just,
this entire episode.
is it just greetings?
Yeah. Yeah, that's her only line this episode.
Oh, she's not one for the dialogue.
She's a stoic character,
She's mysterious.
as we find out in the next episode. But yeah, also the cheeseburger backpack makes a return
Mm-hmm. I did know that down. It's a very nice cheeseburger backpack.
for the
She
handling
needs
of
to take
snacks.
on. Oh, say again.
For the handling of snacks.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's important for every mission, even if the mission is just going to the cinema.
Yep. Well, that's a very important mission. Movies are the art of our times.
I wonder if the gems were telling him that it was like a really important mission. Everything needs to go okay.
Pearl was totally saying
Mm.
that. Also, I would like to note a weird thing in this episode.
Hmm.
According to the trivia, the sodas you see in this scene and the later scene are an actual soda from Taiwan.
Because imports
I don't know, but it's a weird reference.
is quite an obscure reference. Have these specific sodas been used in any other type of media?
I haven't checked. I mean, maybe it's just like a soda that the creators are fond of. It's apple sidra.
Hmm. Nope, that's nothing I've ever heard of.
Well, I don't go in for those crazy beverages.
But one other thing which I was going to note, on the whole, the gems are trying to push Steven's funky flow to maybe make it more of a date rather than a friend's date.
Hmm.
Their interaction with humans isn't that great
No, they're awful at it.
compared to Steven, who, well, basically he grew up with his dad. He grew up in the human world,
Yeah,
air quotation marks. Um,
he has social skills.
yeah, they may not realize that he is just friends with Connie. Maybe they actually think that he's still, or maybe they think that he is trying to make a proper relationship.
Well, they've probably Pearl's probably done some reading, some anthropological studies, maybe.
And that's not going to help at all.
No, they rarely help ever. Um, and I think Stephen's trying to impress Connie to a degree here
Mm,
because of the next scene. Because they could just walk to the theatre.
true, but he says he wants to go in style.
So they decide to take Lion,
They take Lion.
who's eating a crystal iguana.
Mm.
They don't know where he got it.
No one knows where he's got it, but I feel like I might have seen it somewhere before.
It's kind of a generic Steven Universe design.
So it's not something I've seen before, it's just kind of generic and
Um, it might have been in the background of one episode. Maybe Giant Woman. I don't know.
possibly. Who knows?
Yeah, and then we get Connie lamenting about how she has a boring human life.
And the most exciting thing she does is tennis practice,
Yeah.
which will in no way be important to the plot of the episode.
But
Few minutes in.
I like Stephen's reaction. He's immediately like, "Wow, that's awesome! I don't get to do that stuff."
Well, no, that's because she says overhead death strike.
Yeah, that would make anything awesome.
Um, yes,
She's a
is
total
is Connie's tennis practice ever brought up ever again past this episode?
maybe in passing.
Maybe in passing. Okay, just as long as it's not just for the climax of this episode and then never talked of again.
I can't remember. I mean, it's sort of
Because I
yeah,
know that this cartoon has been lauded way too highly for that kind of thing to happen
yeah.
several times. I think it's happened once or twice before,
We've already had the pork chops thing.
which is never mentioned again.
It is
It's one
mentioned
of the
once.
things.
It's mentioned one other time, but not by Greg, which makes me sad. But so Stephen and Connie get online. There's the usual overly long line shtick.
Hmm.
Um,
In this episode, I didn't think it was that bad, to be honest.
this is the one bit that goes a bit too long for me, where he's like, "Come on, lion, come on, lion."
Still, compared to the previous line episode, it
Oh, this
is
is way better.
this is leagues above.
Yeah, I mean the other recurring gag I like a lot more.
Uh, where he says, "Lion, why don't you tell me these things that you can do that you do?"
Yeah, I like the phrasing of those things.
Yeah, just his voice as well when he says it. I think it's quite
Mm.
good voice acting.
Yeah, no, the guy's a good voice actor. Um, so Lion runs off.
Oh, well, actually, Stephen says that he's not very well trained.
Yeah,
Well, he says Lion's not very well trained, and then he says that he himself is not very well trained. And that's when Lion kind of perks up and takes them both,
into the
well,
ocean
into the ocean. He starts running on top of the ocean
because he's Jesus.
because he can walk on water.
But it's clear. Lion is Aslan.
Aslan is Jesus, so Jesus is Lion.
Exactly.
Aslan wasn't pink.
That we know of. I don't think
In the
C.S. Lewis.
movies, he wasn't pink.
I don't think C.S. Lewis ever describes his color.
It's been way too long since I've read the Narnia series.
I only ever read the first one as a child.
As in the Wizard's Apprentice or Lion, the
No,
Witch, and the Wardrobe?
Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Okay.
Uh,
Oh,
uh,
well, I don't know. There was actually some kind of mix-up. One was written first, but then the other one was a prequel.
really? All I remember is I hated Mr. Tongues with a fiery passion.
Yeah, well, they were written out of order,
Hmm.
but it was something like The Wizard's Nephew or The Wizard's Apprentice. I think it was The Wizard's Nephew or something that was first in the series, but anyway, that's not important right now.
No, that's another podcast we can have.
What, me trying to blindly remember the several books that I've read in my lifetime?
All three of them.
All three of them.
I'm like, yeah,
It's like, I know I read this book, and I know that I remember the thing about it, but what was the thing that I remembered that I remember?
and the clear meaning of Gilgamesh and Enkidu is the barrier between the human and animalistic side and his desire for civilization.
Yeah, that's just a recipe for disaster.
Do you even know the book I'm referencing there?
Um, Gilgamesh and who?
Enkidu.
Enkidu, and that was basically his pet lion.
Kind of, actually. Well, he was a man who lived among the beasts peacefully, and then they sent a prostitute priestess out to make a man of him.
I thought he was just like a Mesopotamian prince or something.
No, Gilgamesh was the prince. He was also kind of a god. Enkidu was an animal man who became friends with Enkidu through the power of muscle.
Oh, okay.
And then they fought a giant bull.
As you do.
Yeah, the bull of heaven.
Well, if you've got a friendship based on muscles, then you're not going to fight a normal bull.
Yeah, then Enkidu dies. And he gets very sad. And Gilgamesh gets very sad.
Mm. So, Lion, basically with Connie and Stephen on his back, dashes off across the ocean. And just the art in this scene is, well, it's quite pretty.
Yeah, it is.
It's
Uh,
just a very pretty scene. It's just, well, it's kind of just showing off. It's just like a minute or so of just Lion running, nothing much happening. They're just kind of showing off the art, and
yeah,
it's really cool.
and it's admittedly kind of pointless. Because at the end of the scene, it's revealed Lion has teleportation powers.
Yes.
So, I mean, thus far, the rules have not been set on his teleportation power. All the teleportation in the series is played very fast and loose.
Yeah, you can teleport when you need to.
Well,
That's essentially what I.
well, Lion can, the gems can't.
Hmm.
The gems require warp pad.
Well, we don't know if they require it. They just always seem to use it.
Yeah, maybe it consumes less energy.
Say again?
Maybe they can do it, but it consumes a lot of energy.
Hmm. Who knows?
Maybe that's why Lion was eating the iguana.
To juice up on
Crystal energy.
crystal energy, yes.
He needed Crystal Pepsi.
I was going to say that sounds a bit like an energy drink. Maybe I was just thinking of Crystal Pepsi.
Well,
Um,
there's now Crystal Mountain Dew.
that's cool.
Yeah, it's called Juice Shine.
So basically, yes, Lion teleports. He barks at the moon, opens up a portal, and they're teleported to what I assume is one of Rose's secret weapon stashes.
One of her secret lairs.
Because essentially, when there's a um, giant circle plateau in the middle of the cave,
Mm.
and when Stephen kind of steps onto it, a plinth which has like a handprint on it raises up from the center. And I
Kind
couldn't
of,
quite see, but it looks like there's just like a flower with a vine of thorns spiraling out from it.
yeah, there's Rose's symbol on it. But I kind of like Stephen's reaction here. He's like, oh, this is magical gem stuff. I got this.
Like, yeah, this is gem stuff.
Touch it.
I don't think he was like, I got this.
Mm. Well, he's kind of in his element here. Admittedly, he normally has Pearl to sort things out for him.
Hmm.
So as soon as he touches things, Pearl would normally fix it.
Yes. What is the one rule? Don't touch the ancient gem artifacts.
Yep. And what
What's the first thing that he does in this cave?
I mean, he has got reason to feel kind of safe here.
Would he recognize? Well, actually, no. I suppose Lion did bring him here, and
And it's his mother's symbol.
does he recognize it though? Has he been shown?
It's on his shield.
He's summoned his shield once, and he was on the opposite end of it.
Um, I imagine. Oh, and I think it's also on the laser light cannon.
I don't think so.
I think it's on the side. Um, where the supports are. I know there's some kind of detail on
It
there.
is. It was quite small.
I'm sure it's around on stuff. I know it
I
appears
might
on.
have seen it before, but it might have just been the shield.
I
But
know
no,
it appears on
if he
other.
recognize.
I know it appears on other Rose-related artifacts later on in the show.
And I'm sure that if he did recognize it as Rose's symbol, then he would have said something about it.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's clearly gem stuff. He's going to poke it.
Mm.
Um, so he sticks his hand on the giant hound,
Hmm.
and he gets stuck.
Actually, I can't remember. Does he stick it on the plinth, or does Connie kind of move his hand onto the plinth?
Um, I think he touches it.
Hmm. Um, then it gets stuck. They both try to tear his arm away, but nothing's working.
Yep. So, and while Connie's trying to help, she pokes him or something, and stuff comes out of
Yeah. First off, she says, "Well, we've got to chop it off," and
yeah,
then swords and chopping weapons appear.
yeah. It's almost like it's linked to his mind.
Because then she starts poking him, and he's like, "No, stop! I'm ticklish." And armor pops up out of the ground.
Yeah. And then she boops his nose.
He goes down, and then something else happens, and he like summons three laser light cannons,
Yep.
which makes me think that the other gems don't know about this place.
I'll say this: there's another episode involving this place.
But if there's like three light cannons here, and they're like, it's like, dude, we need light cannons to destroy the giant orb in the sky. I know where there's one in Rose's old weapon stash.
Well, maybe they can't activate it.
I think that, well, wouldn't they just like imagine it's like, right, we need Rose's gem. Stephen, come with us. We're gonna take you to one of your mum's old rooms.
Um, I think in that point in the series, they didn't trust Stephen enough to take him somewhere that dangerous.
Oh, I don't know, because all you need to do is just like make him touch the plinth and think of a laser light cannon.
Hmm. Well, it is revealed in that future episode that this cache is insanely difficult to get to.
Mm. Unless you've got a lion.
Yeah, because lying is Jesus.
Um, Also, I can't remember why, but they bring up the giant penny.
Yeah, I mean, we all know what it is. Batman.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. This is essentially a bat cave.
Yeah,
The,
I
the
mean,
only the only logical reason for them to have a giant penny is to reference the bat cave.
I mean, would it have been too much on the nose if it'd been a penny and a dinosaur? Because that's
Well, I think
because
a
I've always seen them.
dinosaur would have been more subtle
Mm,
because it's revealed that, they've been here kind of since the dawn of time in human reckoning. Like,
well, 6,000 years. I mean,
oh,
that
6,000 years for Amethyst, and she's the youngest.
true. I
I get
mean,
the idea that, like, Garnet and Rose were much older.
yeah, um, but I don't. We don't know if they were here during the dinosaur period. I mean, um,
But even if they weren't here during the dinosaur period, and they weren't interacting with dinosaurs, even though apparently there's a story where Greg is a caveman. Like, I know there are a few million years difference between those.
yeah,
Um,
we're not Christian Scientists. We don't believe that crap.
um, but still, how many like dinosaur replicas are there in the world? Hundreds, thousands,
Not enough.
millions. How many giant pennies are there?
Same answer. Not enough.
Not enough.
But from what I remember of Batman comics, they're always posed together.
They're close together, yes.
You know, it's the giant penny in the foreground and it's normally a T-Rex in the background.
Hmm.
And I always figured they were kind of from the same caper. Back when Batman, took prizes from his rogues gallery.
I don't know. In the cartoon,
Well, which one?
in the animated series of Batman, all I can remember is that there was basically a giant coin, and it was Two-Face
Hmm.
who was going to flip the coin, and if it landed on Batman, Batman would die. If it didn't, then 50-50 chance.
But what if it landed on its edge?
He'd do it again.
Um, I know that the coin in Batman history has been there almost since the beginning,
Hmm.
and so it's had lots of origin stories.
So the coin, like the Joker, has a multiple choice origin story.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe the penny is the true villain.
So carrying on,
That's Nolan level Batman writing.
uh, um, basically the first time that, well, his hand is stuck, and then Stephen, the first time he says, I want this, he says, well, he basically says he wants to go to see Dogcopter. He wants explosions. Uh,
Yeah,
the weapon cache listens to him, and they summon like the video game enemy crystal training drone
yeah,
that shoots fire and cold from its multiple mouths.
and lightning.
Do we see lightning?
Yeah,
Fair enough.
we get all three. Also, it looks really like one of the bosses from Wind Waker.
I was thinking kind of Legend of Zelda-ish. Kind of similar to an Octorok. Basically, I'm getting that just from the mouth, the eyes, and
Mm.
the shooting stuff.
No,
And actually, and I suppose also kind of close to the Deku Dekus.
yeah. There's a boss in Wind Waker in the Tower of the Gods who's a floating head with hands. I don't know if you've played Wind Waker actually.
Only very briefly.
I've played it several times through. Very similar to him.
No,
Excellent.
seriously, I've been around your house and says like, oh wow, Wind Waker HD, and you've been like, oh yeah, that's cool. And it's like I'll just play and I'll just sit playing this game for a few hours. It's like,
Mm.
no, Dan, go home. It's like, but I haven't played it before.
Yeah,
That's happened on several occasions. You should
yeah.
know this by now, Keir.
And now I have multiple copies of Wind Waker.
And I'm just sat here with none.
Yeah, I have one for my GameCube and for my Wii.
Um, okay, Giant Penny, Batcave, more weird faces around this point.
Hmm. Basically, the area enters a training thing.
Oh yes, all of the rose thorns spike out of the ground.
Chest high walls.
Chest high walls, yes. The spikes also double up as chest high walls to protect yourself from the
Hmm.
gunfire.
Though Rose is about 8 foot tall,
Hmm.
so they would come up to her shins.
I don't know, they're taller than Stephen and Connie, and I get the idea that they're probably 4-ish foot.
Hmm. Still, not very good protection for a giant woman.
No.
So the robot chases after them, firing its variety of payloads,
Hmm.
and Stephen convinces Lion to take them out of here.
Yeah.
And he just takes them straight to the movies.
Yeah, which, makes it seem like he does actually understand what Stephen is saying.
Hmm. Well,
He just chooses not to listen.
he's a cat.
Yeah, but he's a lion. As far as I know.
Lions are still cats.
Um, and here's the part where I kind of gave Stephen a bit too much credit.
Mm-hmm.
He goes into his hamburger backpack, his adventuring backpack, and he says, "Here, I've got something for that," because Connie's kind of been burned by the
Well,
giant head.
she's not burned, she's got scrapes.
She's got scrapes. I thought he did actually have some kind of antiseptic cream or some kind of burn cream. Something actually legitimately useful in adventure type scenarios.
He packed his bag today, not Pearl.
Well, yeah, but he's been on adventures with the hamburger backpack before.
Yeah, but he was just going to the movies. He needed room for snacks.
But he still took his adventuring pack.
He made room for snacks. You know, he was like, this is not a mission, other than to be with Connie. I don't need my cloak of invisibility.
You always need the cloak of invisibility. And
Well,
you always need the antiseptic cream.
well, maybe he only had a green herb.
Next time he better have next time he better be more prepared.
So next time you want him to have a full med kit in there.
Exactly.
I mean, it's revealed in another episode he doesn't actually require that.
Oh, does he get magical healing powers?
Yeah, Stephen's white mage.
That's cool.
But, not as feisty as Dende.
Um,
Actually, I think that's the next Connie episode.
where he learns how to heal people. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I believe it is. So where were we? Oh yes, they're at the movies, and the boss monster follows them through.
Well, actually, before that, we have like the scene of basically Connie and Stephen admitting that they're both extremely awkward and also very anxious about things.
Yeah, they're dorky kids.
They're incredibly dorky.
Yeah.
Is that aimed at anyone in particular, do you think?
Our hearts.
Our hearts. Um, and they're both basically just saying, it's like, why would you want to hang around with me? You're so much cooler than I am.
Well, we've all been in that situation.
Hmm.
You're mad because I've never said that to you, aren't you?
No, I'm just thinking it's a pretty common situation, yeah, and I imagine that it's something which maybe the designer of Steven Universe went through as well.
Yeah. I mean,
She was also an Invader Zim fan. She just kind of fits the
she fits the mold.
she fits the mold. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
You
Um,
know, also, they're coming from completely different worlds, and Stephen can't do normal things. He has to be a badass gem warrior. But, what does he do? He watches samurai movies. He watches TV.
he watches TV. He plays video games. Goes to the arcade. He does lots of normal things.
Yeah, but he can't really do them properly, if that makes sense.
He never will be as good as Onion.
No one will ever be as well, good's not quite the right word for onion, but no one will be ever as onion as onion. Um,
Mm.
but his interaction with people is limited. He spends most of his time with the gems. The only person of his age we think that he talks to other than Connie is Petey, and that's most of the time as a customer server relationship, because Petey takes his job damn seriously.
Mm. I don't think we've seen Peavy since Frybo, actually, have we?
Maybe in the background.
I think he was in Cat Fingers, but yeah,
But
just
yeah,
to,
he was in Cat Fingers.
um, carrying on from that. Yeah, as you were going to say,
Boss
the
monster.
training drone follows through.
Oh, there's one thing we missed.
Oh, go on.
Stephen doubles Connie and himself, and the drone breaks through. That's why they're all scraped up.
Yes. I
Which,
think this is the first time we've seen the bubble since its primary appearance.
in Bubble Buddies, yes, I believe so.
I think there have been places where it would have been useful for him to use the bubble as well.
He doesn't have full control of his powers,
Mm.
but
Is this like saying that he does now? Is he just getting more adept at using it, or?
he can. There's kind of a theme in his powers that he can only really use them to protect other people.
Mm.
Um, but this is also the only time we see it burst, I believe.
And do
Which,
you think that's because it's well, do you think Rose created this drone? So it's like the same kind of.
well, we have Rose's insignia. This is a training room for her.
Mhm.
So, of course, it's going to be designed to be able to defeat her.
Mm.
I think the bubble is meant to be a weaker version of her shield.
Oh, say that again, sorry.
I said, I think the bubble is meant to be a weaker version of her shield.
Mhm.
I can't confirm that, but that's my impression. Because the shield, when we see it in later episodes, is able to take tremendous attacks.
Mm.
But anyway, there's a really cool thing that's about to happen in the episode that we should talk about.
Mhm.
Lion gives Stephen a sword from his head.
Oh yes. He's like, oh yeah. It's like, how am I supposed to defeat this? And then Lion's just, oh well, with my head sword, of course.
It's like, oh, if you need my help, here's my head sword. Why he can't give him a head cannon, I don't know.
Um.
Well, yeah,
Also, I didn't note this down, but I think when he does pull the sword from Lion's head, there's kind of like the rose design in the hilt,
yes.
which yeah, he kind of pulls it out, and then they well, they realize that they can deflect the bullets with the sword.
I think it's Connie who realizes it more than Stephen.
Hmm.
Um, it should be noted, once again, pulling the sword out of a person. Revolutionary Girl would know.
Yeah.
2 episodes in a row references.
Oh, it's not a reference, it's an homage.
I think it's a great thing to reference.
Mm.
I just can't wait till they bring in the cards.
I can't see Stephen in a car. I can see Tiger Millionaire in a car.
Well, no, it's the
But,
villains who drive the car.
okay. Wait, I thought Utena got a car as well.
That's in the movie,
Okay.
which is technically a different timeline, so it's an
So
OVA.
yeah, we'll just not talk, we'll not even go into that.
Yeah, throbbing engines.
What did I just say?
So Connie uses her tennis powers to defeat the robot boss.
Oh my gosh, I was so shocked when this happened. This
It's
just came out of nowhere. I had no idea that they were going to bring up the tennis practice,
it's
which they
Chekhov.
mentioned before.
It's Chekhov's tennis racket.
It's Chekhov's tennis racket.
You put a loaded tennis racket on the fireplace in the first act. It has to be used by the third.
Otherwise, Chekhov comes and shoots you.
Yes, it's the rule. More writers have been killed by Chekhov than sharks.
Wait, so you're saying that more writers have been killed than Chekhov than writers have been killed by sharks? Or Chekhov has killed more writers than he has killed sharks?
He's killed more writers than sharks have killed writers.
Okay. And as we all know, sharks are one of the number one predators of
Oh,
writers.
well, yeah, we're pasty, flabby. They prime meat.
Can't swim very fast.
No, because we've got a book in our hand.
Exactly.
Lying on a surfboard reading. It's just a recipe for disaster.
Hmm. Um, and also we go through the motions with the tennis, batting the bullets away with the backhand, front hand, overhead death slice.
Yeah,
And fortunately, it is the overhead death slice that finishes off the monster.
yep. As it should be.
As it should be.
And then they go see the movie.
Yep, Stephen asks for 3 tickets, 2 children and 1 lion.
I imagine they get a lion discount.
I don't know, because the person behind the counter did ask for a loyalty card, a reward card, so
I don't know.
maybe if he doesn't have one, then it wouldn't have gotten a discount.
I mean, can you see Stephen going to the movies a lot?
Maybe.
Or is he the kind of guy who rents?
No, I think he's the kind of guy who rents. I think Connie's the moviegoer
Yeah, I think he likes the comfort of his own bedroom.
and the gems.
Yeah, I imagine Amethyst does great commentary. But it ends on a great shot of them in the theatre. Lion's got 3D glasses on.
Yes, that's quite a humorous bit to end on, I think.
I think it's adorable.
Much nicer than the street where the cinema is, having been blown up by the training drone.
Oh, they're used to it in Beach City. But then, as every episode ends with a zoom-in shot of some kind, it irises in as a parody of the MGM logo, and Lion roars.
Hmm.
Interesting fact, the lion in the MGM logo has been the same for many, many decades, and was named Leo.
How very imaginative of them.
These were people in the 30s.
So they were the original.
No, imagination was rationed like everything else.
Um, so yeah, that's Lion 2, the movie.
Hmm. A damn good episode, I think.
Yep, I did really enjoy it. It had all of the things that I like.
Yeah.
It had weird gem stuff, it had beautiful graphics, and it, well, it had Stephen and Connie being cute little kids.
Hmm. Did it redeem Lion for you? Because I know you were disappointed in the first Lion episode.
Yes. I'm not sure if I was disappointed in Lion or just the episode. I think Lion's probably always been cool.
Hmm. But I think they took the exact problem from the first episode, the first Lion episode, and dealt with it perfectly. Because there's the banter. There's someone for Stephen to talk to.
Yes. It's not just Stephen and Lion.
Yeah, though the lines between Stephen and Lion are still cute.
Yeah, and they're not drawn out forever.
Yeah. I mean, there's a repeating gag throughout the episode where Stephen berates Lion for not telling him the things he can do.
That's all it is. It's just like one swift line and then it's done. It's great. It's amazing.
Yeah. And I kind of think that reflects the audience. I know you've said this, that you're left with more questions.
Yes, I'm left with more questions. I think I was supposed to have guessed like what Lion is
Mhm.
by this episode, by the time we've watched this episode. I don't know.
I,
It's
you've got another 2 episodes, I think.
2 episodes. Okay. Well, it seems like, well, 100% certain that he is to do with Rose
Hmm.
from just like the fact that the weapon cache was obviously Rose's because it had the light cannons. And then there's also the sword, which is obviously Rose's because it had the rose petal design in the hilt,
Hmm.
which Lion was keeping in his head.
Also, that sword was freaking huge.
It was pretty huge. It took 2 people to wield it.
When there's a shot of Connie holding it over her shoulder, it looks like she's holding a cloudbuster sword.
Mm.
But then again, it makes sense, given that Rose is 8 foot tall.
Given that Rose is a what?
Given that Rose is 8 foot tall,
Hmm. Do we know that she was 8 foot tall?
8 to 7 foot tall. She's taller than Garnet
That's quite tall.
by quite a degree.
That's a lot taller than Greg.
Yes.
Um,
And given in the recent episode that aired, Greg was shorter when they first met.
um, but yes, the questions about Lion. I am still thinking that maybe Rose kind of left Lion for Stephen,
Mhm.
partly due to the fact like when Stephen says, "I'm not that well trained," Lion's just like, "Right, this is where I step in. I'm going to take him to the training area."
I know that word, training.
Training. But then also maybe he was just Rose's pet anyway. Um, I kind of discounted that idea just because it seemed like the other gems hadn't met Lion before.
Mhm.
They seemed shocked to Stephen to see like the lion with the magical powers. But then they were also kind of, well, it would make sense because it seems like there was probably definitely a relationship between Lion and Rose, and the fact that they actually let Stephen keep the lion,
Well, they
which
kept Amethyst.
I know that was the joke, but
Mm.
still, he's still a lion. And that's not the kind of thing which you just say, it's like, yeah, Stephen can have a lion, why not?
Well,
If
he's a
if they had
magical.
maybe some kind of background, if they knew that it was Rose's lion, then they're going to be a lot more accepting of
Mhm.
keeping it in the house.
He's also a magical gem warrior with
Yes.
some manner of magical gem destiny.
But they didn't know that when they said they were going to keep him.
No, Stephen, I mean.
Oh, well, yeah, but Stephen, he's still a kid. He's not going to. He's basically only been learning for 6 to 10 years. Um,
Well, we don't know, given recent revelations. You know, Stephen's age is malleable.
yes, but I think I don't think he's using his gem powers to like stay the age that he is. So I don't think that he knew that he could. Um,
I,
just the fact that he's half human, that for the most part he grew up with Greg, I think that he's just been aging as a normal human.
I kind of like the idea that he's actually super young.
Mm.
I mean, but, you know, I don't know. It's sort of, there's all manner of theories, and I don't think anyone's going to be right until we're told.
But still, he's not that experienced. He's not, you know, advanced enough to look after a lion. So I don't think the gems would have let him keep it if they didn't know about it a little bit. Um, but who knows? Just more questions that need answers.
Mhm.
Um,
Though, actually, I will note it's Garnet who says that Stephen can keep Lion.
and so maybe just Garnet knows about Rose's lion.
Maybe.
Um, but yes, the fact that, and again, sword from head, that was a bit weird. Um, so maybe he's not a lion at all. Maybe he's just another kind of magical construct, like the training drone, but
All the gems.
entirely different purpose. Oh, what was that last bit you said?
I said, all the gems. You know, the gems are magical constructs.
The gems are magical constructs that you can draw weapons from as well, yeah. Hmm, who knows?
Well, Rebecca Sugar.
Yes. And only she.
Well, and probably the staff, because they're about a year ahead of us.
But I think that's all I can really say about Lion at the moment. That's all of my speculations. I'm not, like I said, this episode, it concentrates on Lion a lot, but really it just makes you ask more questions than
Hmm.
any answers it gives you.
Okay. Well, let's move on to episode 18.
Okay, so oh yes, and we did like a roundup. I think this is a very good episode. I've said that it's pretty. I've said that it's cool, but actiony, gemsy,
It's,
purdy.
it's got all the stuff you like.
It's got all the things that I like. This is for me. This is Steven Universe. This is when Steven Universe kind of stands out above, a head above the rest.
Though, knowing you as I do, you'd prefer it if it was Pearl instead of Connie.
No, I don't think that Pearl would have worked in this situation.
Okay. Um, well, episode 18.
Hmm.
Uh,
Episode 18, Beach Party.
yep, was broadcast April 30th, 2014. Written by Lamar Abrams. Um, right. This one begins with the gems fighting a giant pufferfish.
Before we start, are you up for doing this?
Yeah,
I'm getting quite tired and I think I'm quite low energy.
well, we can get
Am
through.
I sounding okay?
Yeah, you're sounding fine.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just barrel through this one.
Okay. There's not
Yeah,
much to say anyway, so
yeah, you know, we'll just do the plot.
so yes, as you were saying, we're basically faced with the giant enemy pufferfish.
Yeah, quick question. I don't remember seeing a gem on this creature.
I didn't see a gem on him either. And also when they defeat him, it doesn't look like a gem is there either.
Yeah, we don't see Garnet bubble it at the end.
There's definitely no bubbling.
So this isn't a gem monster. This is just a weird Terran monstrosity.
I think it might still be gem related. It does, well, it's hovering for one thing.
Hmm. Right.
And as we've seen with Lion, not all gem, well,
Not everything
all
has a
gem
gem
related monsters or gem related creatures necessarily have gems.
that we can see. Yeah. So
Um, and also the construct that was the training drone, which is obviously gem based
hmm.
or gem created.
Though that looked more technology than organic.
Who knows? Maybe this pufferfish is technology.
Or maybe there's weird gem radiation making giant creatures.
That's reading a lot into things, but that
I,
might
I'm,
actually be the best.
I'm just hoping it might mean we one day get giant enemy crabs.
Maybe one day.
One day. Though this does remind me once again of another Legend of Zelda um, villain. I think in Twilight Princess there was some kind of creature like this. Because there was the Wind Temple in that one.
I didn't play Twilight Princess, but I can see where you would get Legend of Zelda from it. There is definitely, I think in Wind Waker there is one which I saw, which was basically this kind of thing, just giant mouth and blew air at you and
Mm.
pushed you away.
Well, that's a fairly common villain in a lot of games, but
That's true.
I mean, I remember it in various Sonic games.
Well, what I would say is the design to me is very reminiscent of Quillfish from Generation 2 Pokemon.
Yeah, I can see that. Um, so the gems are battling this. In
Hmm.
fact, the first shot we see is them skidding in the beach. Stephen face first.
Yep, and Steven's weapon of choice is a float.
Yeah. Um,
And
also, I like that. Yeah, when they asked, when Pearl asked how Stephen's doing, he's just like, "I've seen better days."
um, and yeah, I think we need to give credit where it's due. Steven's the only one to actually connect with the monster.
Yeah, but fails.
He fails because he's using a float. He basically gets it stuck on one of its quills and says, "Yes, it definitely has spikes."
Yeah, I mean, I think he's actually using the boomerang blade technique in this instance.
Um, Maybe. I didn't notice his footwork or his center of balance, but
But the sort of spin of the attack makes me think that.
I think he might have just been going for frisbee, but
Same attack.
same attack.
Um, so Garnet's blown off and smashes into the boardwalk.
Hmm.
So Amethyst is just like, nope, turns into a bat and smashes that out into the ocean.
Yeah, because now it's not a problem now. It's a problem for later.
That's a later Gems problem.
Pearl does not approve.
But we have to admit, we'd do the same thing.
Well, no, what I would do is it just seems so simple, like the way that you would defeat this monster. It's
Well,
quite slow moving, and it's only blowing hot air from one direction. Try attack. Come at it from three directions. It's not going to be able to defend against that.
yeah, it is fair to say these are legendary Gem warriors, and they need an old woman to strategize to defeat this pufferfish.
Yes. It's just,
I mean, to be honest, I kind of feel they weren't on their A game anyway.
they definitely weren't on their A game.
I mean, Pearl just throws her glaive, I think we agreed, at the pufferfish. She doesn't directly jump attack it.
Hmm.
Um, but I do like this next part. They go to the boardwalk to find Garnet. She is just lying perfectly still in this cratered mass of a roof,
Hmm.
just ignoring Kofi Pizza, who's just shouting at her.
Um, are their surnames actually Pizza?
Yes.
Because that means that we've got the pizza company whose family's last name is Pizza,
Mm.
and the Fryman company thing whose last name of the family business is Fryman.
Yeah.
And Mr. Smiley, who runs the Happy Funland arcade.
Yep. And then we have Onion
Who runs the onion trade?
and his dad, Yellowtail.
He wears the yellow fisherman jacket things, like the full body ones. I'm not
Mm.
sure what they're called.
A Kagol?
Google.
I don't know. But that's his name, Yellowtail, which is a type of fish.
But yes, I think that they could easily have defeated this pufferfish.
And then we wouldn't have had this episode.
Exactly. And we would all have been better off for it.
Well, except for the pizzas, because I imagine their sign still would have been destroyed.
Yes.
But, Kofi's just a belligerent, horrible person.
Accountable losses.
But I do like the fact that Garnet is just rigidly still, ignoring everything.
Also, before this, like when Garnet is going to punch the pufferfish in the face before she gets blown away,
Mm-hmm.
um, this giant monster whose like main form of attack is just strong gusts of wind.
Mm-hmm.
Even this cannot move Garnet's hair. It kind of wobbles a little bit side to side, but nothing like the Pearl versus Hollow Pearl fight.
Mm. But that's because Garnet, her strength is in her hair.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that or she has weighted hair.
I'm not even sure if it's hair. It might just be a helmet.
Well, it's actually a thing in a later episode that is not well. Stephen imagines she has weighted hair for training purposes.
Hmm. When she takes it off, she'll just be faster.
Mm. Despite the fact she has super speed already.
Well, imagine how fast she would be if she took the weights off.
She could outrun the Flash. But, once the gems reach Garnet, they just jump off into the sky. You asleep?
Nope,
Lost.
almost.
Then we have Kofi banning Stephen's friends from the pizza place.
Because they're all monsters.
Yeah. And then we find that just everyone makes fun of Kofi.
Yep. Well, everyone in his family, anyway.
Yes. As he deserves. Though we do meet Nana Fu.
But the other the two daughters, I believe, we
Yes.
meet before.
Yeah, we've met Kiki and Jenny before.
Kiki and Jenny.
Yes.
Hmm.
I believe prominently in the First Line episode.
Yes. Kiki is the one who says the "I'm not lying" pun more times than necessary. And
Once
then
is more than necessary.
once is more than necessary. And then Jenny was one of the cool kids.
Yeah, she's the one with the car.
Hmm.
So Stephen goes back to the temple to break the news to the gems that they're
Nobody
banned.
cares.
Yeah. Yeah, he knows they don't eat. Well, other than amethyst. Yeah. as someone who holds a deep love of pizza, I don't get why Stephen cares.
Well, it's not about pizza. It's about the fact that the gems are supposed to be heroes, and heroes can't be banned from a pizza place. That's just not right.
But they need to take care of a pufferfish.
Yeah, but thanks to Amethyst, that's a problem for later. Right
Yeah,
now, they could totally, you know, apologize at least.
no,
I'm
they
not
don't have
saying
that.
they needed to fix the sign, but just say sorry.
No, they don't have that level of social skill.
But yeah, but still, they've been dealing with humans for 6,000 years or so.
Yeah, Rose was the face.
That's true.
You know. Also, Stephen just flat out says, and that Garnet is mysterious. And she said, oh, yeah, I worked it. So, Stephen's solution is a beach party.
Hmm.
So he sets up hamburgers and grill and everything. And then we get to what I think is the reason for this episode.
Go on.
Stephen hands the gems um, a fashion magazine
Hmm.
and tells them that they should change outfits. Something kind of casual.
Something kind of casual.
Um, which they do so.
Well, yes, the pizzas turn up first.
Yeah. And Jenny notes that she's never been to this side of the beach before,
Hmm.
which, given she's the rebellious twin, she flat out states in another episode she demands to be the evil twin.
Hmm.
I find that kind of interesting that people don't go this end of the beach. Um, and then they kind of do a pun on the opening, changing into beachwear.
Hmm.
I think that's honestly the reason for this episode. They wanted the gems and other costumes.
But also when they change, it's not just they don't just change. They make a performance out of it.
But that's what they do.
Yes, and I'm wondering, are they putting on the show for the humans?
I think that's how they think they should behave around humans and put on a Sentai show.
I did write Sentai, but I think it's more like the Sailor Guardian or Sailor Fuku, Sailor Guardian, Sailor Moon type thing.
Well, isn't that a Sentai show? Well, that's
Uh,
more, I suppose it's a magical girl show.
Magical Girl, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
No, I think Sentai is just like, well, Power Rangers
Yeah,
essentially.
yeah, I'm getting confused. Um, yeah, essentially, this episode is an anime beach episode.
Hmm.
It's pointless. It's just how the characters in another costume.
And they're eating barbecue food and
I'm surprised they don't smash a watermelon,
hmm.
which apparently isn't actually a thing.
Saying,
Apparently, that's not actually a thing.
really?
Yeah, apparently everyone's just like, no, watermelon's expensive.
Fair enough. I think I've only ever seen it once properly in a anime slash manga.
Well, I've seen it in anime, but I've also seen it commented on how people don't actually do that.
Hmm.
It's actually in Lucky Star. Comment is like, so when are we going to smash the watermelon? That's what people do at the beach, right? And everyone's just like, deadpan. No, no one does that. Why? Why would you waste food?
Hmm.
So we get back and forth between the gems and the pizzas.
Yes.
It's
Kofi, is it? Is Kofi the manager?
Kofi's the dad, yeah.
Maybe. He's not really impressed by anything that's going on. He's still a bit bitter about the whole shop getting destroyed thing.
Fair enough, but he's still a dick.
A
So,
little.
but everyone else is kind of game, and then Stephen arranges a game of volleyball. and actually I like what he does by splitting the teams.
Yes, I think he pairs them up really well.
Yeah, sort of personality-wise and also
I'm not
size-wise.
sure if he does it on purpose or whether he's just lucky at guessing.
Let's do both.
Might be both.
Um, so then, volleyball,
Hmm.
and it's shown that Garnet can hit the volleyball so hard that the sand turns to glass.
Oh, say that last bit again, sorry.
It's shown that Garnet can hit the volleyball so hard that the sand turns to glass.
Yes, Nana turns to the camera and says, like, did you know that when sand is superheated, it turns to glass?
No,
And it's, again, it's kind of like another moment where it's just like, did you know that when glass is superheated, now when sand is superheated, it turns into glass? I bet you any number of monies that that's not going to come up later on in the climax. This is totally not Chekhov's gun.
Chekhov was lurking in the back of that writer's room.
I swear, if there were any more, then we would just have to have like Wilhelm screams just to notify every Chekhov's gun. The only other like well-known cinema trope that's as big as Chekhov's gun is the Wilhelm scream, and they're just going to have to go together if we see any more.
Chekhov's gun is a theatre trope. Chekhov was a playwright from Russia.
It's the same thing. I'm
No.
tired. Cut me some slack.
Nein! You will not.
That's German.
Niet!
Okay, there we go.
You won't,
Now I can eat my words.
you won't insult a national treasure.
He was a scriptwriter.
And a novelist and poet.
He wrote stories. That's what we're watching, a story. Chekhov's gun and Wilhelm scream goes hand in hand. I don't care if one's for theatre and one's for film.
Well, they've both got a rich and interesting history.
Exactly.
So let's wrap up this episode. Chekhov lurking firmly in the background of the writer's room. Yes.
They're playing volleyball. They're getting along with each other because their personalities match so well.
Also, we see another random power.
When Amethyst transforms into a tennis racket?
No, we've seen Amethyst transform again. The Pearl holograms.
Have we not seen these before?
Not to this level. She does basically a mirror image thing.
She makes 5 of herself, but I think they're all essentially, well, autonomous and
It's different enough
physical.
it's different enough from her fighting hologram that I think it's worth mentioning.
That is true. It's definitely not Hollow Pearl.
Yeah. She'd have more personality.
Hmm.
Which this
Well, I think these are just kind of physical copies that.
Yeah. I think they also all speak as she speaks.
Mm.
Then the pufferfish returns, and
Oh well, yes. Well, actually, discord is sown between them. They start arguing and fighting, which makes Stephen sad. He's lamenting the fact that I'm not sure if he's saying it's like, oh, it was going so well, or whether he's just complaining that all he wanted was for everyone to get along.
yeah, he says stuff like that. But it is also, I like the fact that they start arguing along team lines.
Yes, there's like one human and one gem across each argument.
Yeah, and they start arguing like that Kofi and Garnet were cheating.
To which they reply, "It's like, well, you cheated first."
Yeah,
And I think another line which I hear before the pufferfish, like finally makes his triumphant return, is Amethyst saying, "Well, we should win because we're the best."
that's the kind of thing Amethyst would say.
That's exactly what she would say.
Then the pufferfish returns, and a tiny old woman organizes the gems into defeating it.
Yes, she basically runs up to the pufferfish and is just like, hello.
Yeah, runs
Uh,
around distracting it while getting everyone else to work.
yeah, she runs around and distracts it, which could leave ample opportunity for someone with, like, say, a glaive to stab it in the back. Get sneak attack damage.
No, no, no. Pearl isn't a rogue.
She could pass for a dashing rogue. She could be a buccaneer.
No, no, I think she's a swordmaster.
She is probably just a regular fighter, yes.
Mm.
Um,
No, 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 she'd be a lawmaster. She has the additional skill ranks and knowledge.
Maybe a bard even.
No, she can actually fight.
Shit. The only reason I can't fight is because I have no strength and no constitution.
Or dex.
I have good decks.
Or wisdom.
I have decent wisdom.
Or intelligence.
Are you talking at me?
No, I'm talking about it.
Valkyrie, who is my bard from Pathfinder.
Yes.
Again, neither here nor there.
And thoroughly edited. So, together they unite and defeat the pufferfish.
Yes. There are two like pretty good lines, I think, in this whole scenario because, as you say, Nana, whatever her name is,
Nanafu.
because as you say, Nanafu is organizing all of the gems together.
Yeah, she does the impossible, applies strategy.
Yes. I can't believe that we didn't think of this before. First off, she tells Amethyst to transform into a ball. And then she asks Pearl to basically launch Amethyst as high
Oh, yeah.
into the air as she can.
Oh, yes.
And Pearl basically just cracks her knuckles and says, "With pleasure," which is probably my favorite line from this episode.
You see, I like the next Amethyst line.
Yes, that's my second best line of this episode.
Where Garnet jumps into the air to smash down the ball Amethyst.
To superheat her and make a giant kind of glacier of glass to spike the ground, as Stephen said.
Which I imagine will be difficult to clean up.
Mm-hmm.
But
And Amethyst's line is,
be gentle.
and again, it's just kind of like a whole humorous dialogue where Garnet says, "I'll try," and then just pounds her just megaton press into the ground anyway.
She knows she can take it.
Mm.
And then huzzahs, they're unbanned. But I do like the ending line.
Is that another Pearl line?
Yeah,
Or is
it's
this
a-
what were we banned from anyway?
Yeah,
They haven't learnt anything from this, I don't
no,
think.
they've learned nothing. If anything, they've forgotten things.
Mm.
Yeah, I think we've made our feelings fairly clear, but let's wrap up.
Yeah. The first time I watched it, I didn't quite enjoy it, but the second time round, when I was taking notes, I just kind of felt just disenchanted with it. It's a decent enough episode. It's a good Steven Universe show, but I don't know. I saw it once, and there's no replayability. There's nothing which made me think I want to watch this episode again.
I would say that the core concept, I think, is interesting and important to the show. The gems learning to interact with humans.
I think you have said that even if you don't like this episode, that it's one of the episodes that stand out just because it kind of shows just how big-hearted Stephen is.
Yeah.
About how he takes it really personally that, the gems have been banned from the shop, and he realizes that they do need to interact with humans. They do need to be heroes. They can't just go around and be big monsters. They need to
Yeah. And
part of the community.
yeah, and I think, I'm pretty down on this episode, but it's middle of the range for me. But I think the reason I'm so down on it is because it's such an important keystone premise in the show that there's so much character development there could be tapped. But then they do a beach episode with it.
Well, they need to get rid of the beach episode some way.
They live on a beach. There's many opportunities.
There was this one opportunity.
You know, I mean, there's some good stuff in it. I like the fact that it's, an elderly woman who's, you know, not only respected by everyone, but she also saves the day.
Mm.
And as we've talked about before, this is another instance of diversity in the show. The pizza family are Ghanaian, but that's never brought into play.
No.
Outside of Kofi's accent, kind of.
And Nanafu's accent a little bit.
Yeah, but it's sort of not they are the Ghanaian family. You know. It's not like Nanafu is some crazy witch doctress from Ghana or something.
No, she's just the wise old black woman.
She's just a funny grandma who has sense.
I don't know. I think it is like the wise old black lady trope, because it does well. Does it pop up a lot, or is it just the wise old woman kind of trope?
I don't know.
The thing that I'm thinking about is Princess and the Frog. I thought that I would have been able to think of more instances of it, but
do you mean the magical black person trope? Who instantly know how to solve the problem?
I suppose that, yes, in Princess and the Frog, the wise old woman is clued up in voodoo, or the good aspects of voodoo.
Yeah, it's that kind of thing. I wouldn't say it's that because, the main characters are magical. She's just a normal woman who works in a pizzeria that also serves fish stew.
On pizza.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. She's just the wise old woman.
Yeah. And she's sassy.
She is sassy.
Yeah.
She has good dialogue with the fish at the start.
And I like the way her and Stephen play together. But, they do nothing with the episode and nothing is learned.
I think we've learned a bit about the gems.
I just think that they wanted to have the gems in casual beachwear.
I'm not opposed to this.
Well, I am, damn it.
Please do not even like Ernest's clothes.
Well, no, if we're going to have a beach episode, I demand formal ball gown wear.
I think I've only seen that once.
I don't know. I think Stephen would look great as Tuxedo Mask.
That's how to bring people together with wrestling. Okay, so overall, I think it's a decent episode, but it's
boring.
I wouldn't want to call it boring either, because, like I said, I did enjoy watching it the first time round. It's just not something which I wanted to watch again, to be honest. I've seen it. There we go. I've watched the episode, and now let's go on to the next thing.
Let's go find a more interesting episode to watch.
Yeah.
It always seems to we get a really good episode like Lion 2. And it's like, with the next one.
I think I'd rather have watched Lion 2 a third time than watching Beach Party a second time.
It was kind of the reverse of what we had last week. Maybe for you, not for you, but for me, I suddenly felt like Onion Trader was just but then Stephen Swordfight is an awesome episode.
Well, we'll see what happens next week. We'll see if we've got
next week. Next
We'll
week
pull
we've got
them good one.
two sort of middling episodes, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Though Coach Stephen has some interesting commentary we can make on it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a celebrity guest star.
Ooh, interesting.
Then after that we get two weird episodes.
Good weird or bad weird?
Both.
Both. Okay. Well, hopefully next two episodes, I'll have more caffeine in me.
Yeah.
Hopefully this has been all okay for you. We've been Expletives Included. This has been our Steven Universe rewatch podcast. I've been Dan, and this has been Keir.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you for listening.